Okay guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about quite an interesting topic. So I'll just start off with a story. This is what got me thinking about it today. So I had my last bit of coursework today that I had to hand in for university. And I handed it in, and then I went to the gym. And after I went to the gym, I was just walking back. And I don't know if anyone has got this before, like if you're familiar with really working hard at something and then you get a kind of emptiness in your stomach afterwards where you're like, your purpose is gone. And you actually get quite depressed because even though it's fantastic that you've had this achievement, your whole structure for your life is completely gone. You're like, what's the point of, what's my purpose now? And this is a well-established thing, I'm not sort of worried about it. But anyway, I was walking back and I was having this thought that, I might not be living around here in the future. I want to. I really love this city, but, I just think like, have I really made the most of living here while I have the chance? And I walked past this Greek restaurant and in Fallowfield. And I've lived in Fallowfield near enough to Fallowfield, for 3 years. And I'd always walk past that restaurant and thought, that would be cool to go with some friends at some point. And I'd never been in it. Even though for all these years I've walked past it and gone, oh, that would be cool. Never actually gone inside. And I just thought, you know what, today's going to be the day. And so I just went in by myself. And, it's a bit sort of uncomfortable to go into a restaurant by yourself. But I just thought, you got to seize the moment. And it was one of those kind of more cafe kind of places where it's kind of less weird to go on by itself. But anyway, I went into this restaurant and I just ordered something, and then I said to the guy, "Oh, is it alright if I sit outside?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And there was someone also in the queue who was just rolling a cigarette, and as I went, she said, "Oh, I'm gonna sit outside as well if that's alright." Or her exact words were, "I'm gonna join you outside if that's alright." I was like, "Yeah, sure, it's fine." And it was that was a really weird experience to me because there's something about that interaction of the girl saying that to me that really just struck a chord within me, and it really made me think of a lot of other things that I'm going to talk about. And I was just kind of sitting outside, and I just thought it was just such an interesting reaction. There's something so organic about that interaction I had, because I was just doing something very off my own interest, going to this restaurant, and I was displaying a side of myself that was very real. Anyway, this girl comes out, and I was just kind of thinking like, maybe I can try a conversation with this girl, and we can have a chat. And she came out and she had her headphones in, and I was just like, just leave it. But nevertheless, this really got me thinking, and I think what I sort of started thinking a bit, is that a lot of pickup artistry, it can give you the wrong impression. In terms of romance, and it depends what you're looking for. But I think a lot of people get into pickup artistry because they think they want to find a good partner, like not necessarily a marriage, although a lot of people do think in those terms. most people want some kind of relationship rather than just just like a sort of one night shag or whatever. So, and I think a lot of sales, a lot of pickup, just focuses on. It can only really be applied to the latter. So, to try and explain this a bit better, I'm going to talk to you about sales and how I think sales relates a lot to courting, finding a partner. So, I'm not a salesman, but I've just been consuming a lot of content about sales, and this is the general impression I got, is that the first rule to being a good salesman is to have something good to sell. The second rule of sales is to find the right people to sell it to. And the third thing is to actually have a good pitch, be able to sell well, be able to do the kind of skills that people typically associate with a salesman. That they can put forward a convincing argument for the person buying it. Now, I think the reason why a lot of people don't do well in sales is because they skip out the first two steps. They just think, oh, I want to get good at sales, find any place that will do it, and they're not massively interested in the product they're selling. They just want to make money, and fair enough. So they're not interested in the product they're selling, and they don't realise the importance of finding the right people to sell to. So they're just going off number 3. Now, don't get me wrong, you can have a great product and a good audience to sell it to, and still not get very far with sales because you don't have good skills as a salesman. But you get nowhere without the first two, I think. You need all 3 basically, and I kind of think it's the same with dating girls and getting into a relationship. First of all, you need to put something on the table yourself. You need to have something good to sell, which is you. You're selling yourself to a relationship. That's the first thing you need to do. And then the second thing you need to do is to outsource the right clients, right? You need to find the right kind of person, the kind of stuff you sell in being you need to outsource to the right people that appreciate who you are, and that sounds a bit blue pill, someone who appreciates you for who you are. You can take it too far. You need to improve yourself at the same time, but ultimately, you don't want to force who you are in a relationship. That doesn't mean you don't need to grow, and sort of, a big part of self-improvement is actually realising who you are in the first place. So, you want a partner who wants you to change, to evolve and all that stuff. So it's quite nuanced exactly what that means. Someone who wants you for who you are. But you do need that to some extent. And then, only then, when you got the 2 things nailed down there, only then, I think, is it worth thinking about your actual sales tactics, which is how, kind of like the stuff, and that is the stuff that Pickup Artistry focuses most on, which is just, your game, basically. And so that's something I've been thinking about more lately, is in terms of Pickup Artistry, the better thing to focus on is the first 2, both like making yourself into the best version of yourself, and outsourcing correctly. Because I think a lot of the time it's just tempting to go. Like I've thought this about meeting people. Is you just tempted to go to places where you're never going to find the right person anyway, and it's a bit like kicking your foot against a wall. You know, like there's some. I remember I was in a pub a week ago, like this time last week, and I was like, oh, I want to, like, I'm in a pub, so I want to get a girl's number, and you know, just kind of give me that sort of practice, if you will, of putting yourself in that situation. And I just saw, I was like, right, who can I ask, you know? And I just saw some girl, and I was like, she'll do. And I walked over and asked for a number and got it actually. And you know, she was a good looking girl and everything, but I just kind of thought, you know, I didn't text her afterwards because I just thought I'm not actually interested in her at all. And that's an example of me not outsourcing correctly. I think I haven't outsourced to the right person. I wasn't interested in this person, and ultimately, I'm doing a disservice to myself because it's an inauthentic interaction. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that a bit, but I think the better and more sustainable thing to do is to find places where you're actually you are yourself in a more authentic way. And like a lot of this stuff sounds very wishy-washy, but I think if you can extrapolate practical steps from it, then it really works. For example, me going to this restaurant, I think that's a kind of better, I'm kind of filtering down the people who I'd want to meet in that restaurant. And as a result, the interactions when I do have them will be much more natural, because I'll be more likely to strike a rapport with the person anyway. Now, I mentioned that this interaction I had with a girl at this Greek restaurant, and didn't go anywhere. I wasn't desperately interested anyway, but it really illustrated me like the potential of this thing. So the point I'm really driving at here is if you not feel like you're finding the right people, or you know you're at a crossroads with finding women, I think the best thing is to. Chris Williamson said this, like, just what do you like doing, and then just do lots of that, or go, you know, and then you'll find people who are like you, and that's a great start. You know, like if you like fitness, then go to the gym and interact with girls who are, you know, in the gym because they're in the gym because they like fitness as well, or like, you know, if you like. I don't know. If you're some pretentious cunt who likes wine tasting, you know, I'm only joking, but you know, you like wine tasting, then go to a wine bar and you know, like some of these interests are superficial. You know, like you're not going to get on with everyone who goes to I don't know, a concert of a certain artist because you like the artist as well. You know, I think it's a mistake to go too far down that line. Like there's a whole thing of people being like, oh, we're made for each other, we both like the same film. It was like, no, you need something deeper than that. You know, I can see that, but I like the spirit of it, and I think you got to start with something like that, rather than just kind of expecting to find people in kind of places that you don't necessarily have an interest in, like, you know, at a party or in a pub. And I guess those places where there's alcohol involved, it's more seen as a traditional mating ground because, but that's only really because alcohol's involved, and people are too shy to do it elsewhere. So, I think what I'm getting at is just go about your day, go about your business, you know, and do things that are authentically you. And again, I know this sounds very sort of wishy-washy, but like, let's say you like have a similar even just you have a similar situation to me. You see a restaurant that you never been to, or a pub. Let's say you're walking around town and you see a nice bar that's cool and interesting, and you're just on your own, but you're interested to check it out, and you go in there and you order a pint and you sit there and on yourself, by your own, and just take in the atmosphere. And then let's say that there's someone else there who's a girl or a guy as well, but let's say it's a girl in this scenario. They're attracted to similar things that you are, and because they're in this bar as well, and because you're being yourself in a very authentic way by going here on your own, you appear very open. I mean, one thing I really learned from doing open mics is people like to talk to someone who's on their own because there's sort of silent confidence about it. You know, and maybe you get talking to her and you guys then go on a date. You know, that's not very likely, it's not going to happen very often, but if you live your life doing like little things like that all the time, first of all, you're just going to be a more authentic version of yourself, which is really important. And second of all, you're just going to make yourself available to the right people. And yeah, so that's my sort of lesson from that experience. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I'll see you guys soon.